Well, according to some, the plane was also made before the Wright brothers came. And they say it was made in the Vedic ages. There's also a difference between science and mythology. Some things are just great stories. That doesn't mean they actually happened.
This thing about anything Indian beating it down, there's no place in the country where there's no traffic jams. Believe me, even in rural India there are traffic jams. So I thought a helicopter would really revolutionize our work. I picked up the thing, I got my license, FAA license, but in India it's so difficult to get the license because many of these rules were made before Wright brothers came.
Well, according to some, the plane was also made before the Wright brothers came. And they say it was made in the Vedic ages.
They're not very wrong. Conceptually it was made. Whether physically they're built or not, we don't have proof for that. Conceptually,
Conceptually, it's about imagination, to think that you can move from place A to place B.
No. You cannot conceptually imagine something entirely. Even if you imagine, you must be able to produce you must understand the principles in some way as to why something flies.
Yeah.
If you don't understand why something flies, it'll be like that, once it happened, a little turtle, with great effort, climbed a tree, went to the edge of a branch and jumped, fell flat. Lot of pain. Slowly again he crawled up. In another 2 days, again up, jumped, fell down, again up, fell down. After a few days, two birds were sitting on the opposite tree. They were talking and they said, "I think it's time we tell him he's adopted." Alright. So I'm saying, what cannot fly, you cannot make it fly.
Yes.
People thought in detail as to what can fly, what cannot fly. Conceptually they thought, whether they built or not, we don't know. And it is an established fact, they calculate the speed of light. Some individual cannot calculate the speed of light just like that if there was no whole scientific culture around him. No individual will just drop from heaven and calculate the speed of light, okay? There must have been a scientific culture, otherwise it won't happen. But we need to understand, there is a difference between science and technology.
But there's also a difference between science and mythology. Some things are just great stories. That doesn't mean they actually happened.
See, for example, there are images or there are sketches which probably somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 years ago were made, where it clearly shows a turtle and a round planet sitting on it and going around. Turtle is the best example, best analogy for a planetary movement, because a turtle cannot accelerate. Same speed, he just keeps going. So a round planet on a turtle is the best way to describe how a planet moves around. And the very word for geography in this country is Bhugol, which means it's a round planet. So it is not because of Galileo we know it's a round planet, we have always known. How do we know? We can't know just one scientific fact and not know the other aspects related to it. So this thing about anything Indian beating it down is because one thing is that culture has evolved because half the people, their brains are in Greenwich Mean Time. They've still not gotten out of the 1948, whatever happened. We struggled for independence, we came out, not just to send them out, but to be who we are. So that problem is still there. And now there are upstarts who claim all kinds of things. There has to be an even balance, not beating down this or pumping it up in an unrealistic way. But you cannot deny, Indian mind has thought about things that nobody had thought about in those times. There is no question about that. But there is a distinction between science and technology. Science can evolve because of certain intelligence. Technology needs material, manifestation. Now we are trying to claim technology, which we should not. If we just focus on science, many things will be attributed to India for sure.